You step out onto your back porch, coffee in hand. You look out over the lawn. The air is perfectly still. Your weather app says clear skies for the next 12 hours. But if you know how to look, and more importantly, how to listen, you will realize the natural world is already sounding the alarm. Nature is never truly silent. The birds in your yard are not just ornaments. They are highly tuned biological radar stations. Their survival depends on detecting atmospheric shifts long before our most advanced satellites register a drop in pressure. Today, we are decoding the invisible language of your backyard flock. We will explore the specific survival protocols birds execute before a major storm hits. Stay with me, because the final signal happens directly above your roof, and it involves a frequency of sound you cannot even hear. Welcome to ZUMIX Bird Lore. Signal number 1 is the frantic feast. If you maintain a bird feeder, you know the usual morning rhythm. It is casual, methodical, but hours before a severe weather event, that rhythm shatters. Your feeder will suddenly be swarmed. Birds feed faster, with an intense urgency. They are not doing this because the sky looks dark. They are responding to a subtle physiological trigger. Research has shown that birds possess a specialized receptor in their middle ear called the paratympanic organ. This microscopic structure functions as a living barometer. When atmospheric pressure begins to drop, they feel it physically. It triggers an immediate instinct to forage, driving them to consume as many high-fat calories as possible before the storm makes finding food impossible. Which leads to the second signal, the sudden silence. As abruptly as the feeding frenzy began, it stops. The yard becomes completely devoid of movement. This is not the peaceful quiet of a lazy afternoon. It is the execution of a survival strategy ecologists refer to as the landscape of fear. Once the barometric pressure crosses a critical threshold, birds shift entirely from active foraging to energy conservation. They retreat deep into evergreen shrubs under the eaves of your house or into the dense ivy along your fence. They are anchoring themselves, waiting for the impact. Signal number 3 is the low-altitude skim. Look at the swallows and swifts. Usually, they are tiny specks hunting high in the thermals. But before a storm, you will see them skimming just inches above your lawn. It is a common myth that heavy air or strong winds are pushing the birds down. The truth is a fascinating chain of ecological cause and effect. The dropping barometric pressure forces flying insects closer to the ground. The birds are simply following their food source. If the aerial insect eaters are diving low, the atmospheric pressure is already plummeting. Signal number 4 involves unlikely gatherings. Under normal conditions, many bird species are fiercely territorial. A blue jay will aggressively chase a smaller sparrow away from a prime food source. But as a storm approaches, you will witness the pre-storm aggregation effect. Data collected by observation networks, like the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, show that extreme weather overrides basic territorial instincts. Birds that usually prefer deep woodlands will push out into suburban edges. You will see unfamiliar species mixing with your daily regulars. The shared threat of the dropping pressure creates a temporary truce. Signal number 5 requires you to close your eyes and listen. The altered song. The complex melodies you hear in the spring are designed to attract mates and defend territory. That requires immense energy. When a storm is imminent, those elaborate songs disappear entirely. They are replaced by short, sharp contact calls, soft, repetitive chip notes. The birds are no longer broadcasting their dominance. They are operating a localized communication network, checking in with their flock, ensuring everyone is holding their position as the danger moves closer. Signal number 6 might seem counterintuitive, the urgent bath. Why would a bird bathe right before it rains? It all comes down to thermoregulation. A bird's primary defense against freezing temperatures and driving rain is the structural integrity of its feathers. If their flight feathers and down are coated in dust or old oils, they cannot trap the crucial layer of insulating air against their skin. The sudden rush to the bird bath is a rapid maintenance check. They are cleaning and realigning their waterproof armor before they are forced to shelter in place for the next 48 hours. Signal number 7 is the ground shift. Watch the American robins working your lawn. Usually, they run, pause, look, and peck in a relaxed pattern. But before heavy precipitation, their behavior becomes frantic. They pull up earthworms with astonishing speed. They are exploiting another unseen environmental trigger. Earthworms are highly sensitive to subsurface pressure changes and moisture gradients. When they sense a flood is coming, they migrate upward to avoid drowning. The robins know exactly what that drop in barometric pressure means for the soil beneath their feet. They are taking advantage of the mass evacuation happening just below the grass. And finally, signal number 8, the invisible warning. This is one of the most remarkable adaptations in the avian world. Some species of birds can actually hear the storm coming from hundreds of miles away. They do this by detecting infrasound. These are massive, low-frequency sound waves generated by severe weather systems, far below the threshold of human hearing. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Current Biology tracked a flock of golden-winged warblers in the Appalachian Mountains. The researchers watched as the entire flock abruptly abandoned their breeding grounds and flew hundreds of miles south. 2 days later, a historic superstorm devastated the exact area they had just left. The birds had detected the deep, infrasonic rumble of the approaching storm system long before any meteorologist issued a warning. The next time the sky turns a shade of bruised purple, do not just check your phone. Step outside. Look at the altitude of the swallows. Listen for the sharp contact calls replacing the territorial songs. Notice the frantic energy at your feeder, followed by the heavy, deliberate silence in the shrubs. By understanding these behaviors, you are no longer just a passive observer. You are reading the raw data of the natural world. If you want to continue exploring the hidden mechanics of nature, make sure you are subscribed to ZUMIX Bird Lore. Tell me in the comments below, what is the most unusual bird behavior you have witnessed just before the sky opened up? I will see you in the next one. Keep looking up.